food stores or producers, let's say Arnold's, which has an OU on the bread. So they have a hechsher, but they also obviously continue to bake and make stuff on Shabbos. So how is it that, assuming someone holds by OU and would just eat that bread or whatever, or in these stores that have a non-Jewish partner that's open on Saturday, which we even have had years ago in this neighborhood, all right? How does that work out? Because according to Shita, that the Jewish partner owns everything, so his food is also being made or whatever on Shabbos, which should be Asr Olam to other Jews, and yet they'll come in on Sunday or buy it and be able to.
If you make the partnership from the beginning, that the non-Jew is the only partner on Shabbos, and the Jew is the only partner on Sunday,
you're going to have to do something like that.
So maybe that's what the Gemara does.
Well, let's see. We'll see in a second that it's sort of. How do you look at it without that stipulation? How do you look at it without that? That's going to be the machlekes here. But interesting. What are you going to do after Pesach? Go to the store, Ezekiel bread or bread that you can get frozen. Yeah. So you go to the store, and it's right after Pesach, and you want to buy this bread that may have been baked on Pesach, and you're hoping that it's Bishul Yisrael, that not Pas Yisrael, it's baked by a Jew. How does a Jew bake the bread on Pesach? How does it? The answer is that they have these pilot lights that are lit and whatever that a Jew lit, and they're relying on however that works. So, can you get when Dixie bread is Pas Yisrael?
Yeah.
Right after Pesach, you go. It's owned by non-Jews, right?
Yeah.
Right after Pesach, you go in there. Can you buy the bread? Was it baked by a Jew on Pesach?
Mashgiach to make sure it's not.
Mashgiach wasn't working down Pesach.
So the answer is that there's two separate laws here. There's two separate laws. There's Bishul Yisrael, which doesn't have to do with chametz, and but I ask your local rabbi.
Stuff.
So the Gemara explains Ad kan lei pligi. Until now, there's no argument el demar savar yesh brera or mar savar ein brera. There's two ways of viewing when I look at a partnership, or when I look at any sort of division. Do I look at it that it's already divided the whole time, or do I look at it that it's always mixed up, always everything? But everyone would agree that it doesn't exempt you. The fact that you have a partner that's not Jewish in this field doesn't mean that you don't have to give truma.
Right.
You have to give truma off yours. You're not exempted off yours. He has no obligation, but that's his. But everyone agrees that yours is obligated. So the Rabbanan hold Reishis de Gancha doesn't tell me that I don't have that a partnership with a non-Jew exempts me, and it's very clear. And the explanation for that is because when it comes to a sheep, Rashi goes through a little thing. When it comes to a sheep, it's one animal. So part of if you own, it's all one entity, it's one organism. You own this organism together with the non-Jew. You can't divide up. So there's a partnership. However, when it comes to grain, each grain is separate. So yes, his grain is exempt, but my grain is a separate entity. It's not like each hair is separate. That I don't have. Each hair on the. And I'm not going to say, but I can say each grain is separate. He owns 5 grains, and I own 5 grains. Right? Okay, that's the explanation. V'bayasema, another answer. Tavayol Rabbi Eily mitzayin chanafka. And this was the original thing. I didn't speak this out, but this was what was a little disturbing the whole time. That tzaincha, your sheep, tells me both. It exempts both a Jewish partner and a non-Jewish partner. It's a singular pronoun that tells me your. Why should it be a difference? Why should I need a separate pasuk to tell me a non-Jew? A partner exempts you. It needs to be a singular ownership. My time. What's the reason why a non-Jew would be exempt. A non-Jew as a partner would exempt the shearings of wool that I don't have to give the first ones to the Kohen. Because it's not specifically, because it's not specifically his. So Yisrael Nami, even if it's a Jewish partner, it's not uniquely his. Okay. V'Rabbanan, how do the Rabbanan divide this up? They say that a Jewish partner is obligated. They say like this. The reason why you're exempt, if you have a non-Jewish partner, is because the non-Jew is exempt. So that exempts. Half of this sheep is exempt, and it's not, in its ownership, it has that exemption. However, Yisrael, bar chiyuvahu. When it comes to a Jew, the Jew is obligated. So you're obligated, and he's obligated. So he doesn't take the tzeincha to tell me that a Jewish partner exempts you from giving the first sharings to the Kohen.
Rashi says a nice thing over here at the bottom of the page. When it's owned by Jews in common, it's considered one. It's like Avos Yisrael, that we're all like one. Yeah, it's a very interesting Rashi.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Rabbi Drew, when we really get into it.
Yeah, it's a nice Rashi.
Very nice. What does it mean, Kol Yisrael K'lim B'Lashon Yachid? Maybe he means that sometimes when it uses, when it talks about Am Yisrael, it uses a singular pronoun. Because when it talks about a nation, you don't have to say...
that's the non-Hasidic interpretation.
Okay, fine. I got it. Amar Rava. Rava says, Maida Rabbi Eily b'truma. See, Rabbi Eily said that if you have a partnership with a Jew, you're exempt. Rava says you're exempt from giving the gifts to the Kohen. Rava says that Rabbi Eily would agree that by truma you are obligated. Even though it says your grain, which means didach in the shutfus lai, that means yours yes, partners no. It means only if it's singular. So kasar rachman truma seichem. I have a plural word that says your truma, and this is a plural possessive pronoun. Truma seichem, that's plural, and so therefore even partners you're obligated to give the truma, even partners on the field. Ela degancha lamali. So why do I have a singular degancha? That sounds like an exclusion of partners. That's excluding a non-Jew. Chala. We're going to go through a whole list of things here. The dough that you have to remove to give to the Kohen. Today you take it off and put it in the freezer and burn it when you have a chance. With the chametz. We burn it.
You do?
Yeah.
Supposed to burn it? Oh yeah, we burn it. Yeah. Put it up and burn it.
Yeah, you put it in the oven, just
In
burn
the
it.
oven. When
Right.
you don't put it in the
Throw it
oven
in the
with the
back of
challah into baking,
Yeah, sometimes you could do that also, but we usually, just so it doesn't get mixed up.
no, but it's like a ball, and
A
you
ball.
put it inside, like,
Yeah.
and it need to burn like 95% or something like that, or is it
I don't
something
know.
else?
You burn it up. I don't know. So, this challah, afagav the ksiv rashis, v'kalameimer neilef rashis ageiz. Rabbi Eily says that when it comes to the shearings of wool, if you have a partner in the sheep, you don't have to give the first shearings to the Kohen. So it says by challah rashis, it says by rashis ageiz rashis. So I could have learned, malahalan the shutzvis afkan the shutzvis I could have learned that just like by the shearings of wool, a partner exempts you, so too by the dough. If you make dough with someone else, the partner exempts you. So kasar rachman arisa seichem. So Hashem says, your dough in a plural. It tells me that you're obligated even if there are partners there. By the big challah bakes. You still take challah, right? Ela time of the kasar arisa seichem. What's the reason why you have to take the dough? Because I have the word arisa seichem, which is a plural possessive pronoun on dough. Halav hachi, but if not so, hava mina neilef rashis ageiz. I would have said, if not for rishis seichem, I would have said that you're exempt. The Gemara says, Adarabba, on the contrary, neilef mitruma, learn from truma. And what do we learn by truma? It says, truma seichem. It says a plural. So, and we have a rule that whenever I have something, a leniency, or I have a stringency to compare it to, I always compare it to the stringency, which over here would be the truma. Truma which is the first gifts of grain to the Kohen, obligated to give even if there's a partner. So I would say by challah also, I would give it to. I would be obligated even though there's a partner. The Gemara says hachanami. You're right. So if you're right, el arisa seichem lamali. So why do I need the plural? The plural arisa seichem to tell me that a partner. I know it from Truma. It says kadei arisa seichem. It's coming to tell me how much dough you need, how much flour you need. That obligates you in challah. Rashi goes through the whole calculation. Basically, it's a tenth of an ephah. Now, an ephah is 3 sa, and a sa is 6 kav, and a kav is 4 lug. So it's really 3 times 6 times 3 times 6, 18 times 4 is 72, and a lug is 6 eggs. So it's 72 times 6.
432.
432, very good.
Okay,
He's doing algebra. There's a little, but mental math is good. So that's 432. So now you have to divide it by 10 is 43 and the fifth, 0.2. 43 and the fifth eggs. And if this is confusing, so the word challah is the gematria of 43.
Oh.
Challah is 43. That tells you how many eggs you need in the dough to be obligated in challah.
5 pounds. I just look like 5 pounds. 5 pound bag.
Peya. What about peya? Peya is the corner of the field that you need to leave for the poor. Do you have to leave it if you have a partner? And it says your field in a singular. So didachin shutvislai only if it's a singular, only if it's owned by one person. By a partner, no. When you will harvest the harvest of your land, and that's a plural. That means even if you have a partner, you still have to leave it for the poor. So why does it say a singular, your field? It's coming to exclude that if you have a partner with a non-Jew, you're exempt from leaving peya. B'chayra, a firstborn animal. What about that? If you have a partner, do you have to give it to the Kohen? Or over here it has a singular that says any firstborn animal that's born in your cattle or in your sheep. That says only your singular, but not partners. It tells me the plural. That tells me that even if you have a partner, I'm not a partner with a non-Jew, even a partner, you're still obligated to give. So why does it have to say a singular if it tells me afterwards a plural? To exclude a partner with a guy. Only a Jewish partner is obligated, not a partner with a guy. Mezuzah.
And that's what they do now. They make a shutfus with a guy.
Oh, yeah.
That's how they get out.
What about if you own a house with you're a partner with a non-Jew? Do you have to put a mezuzah? Alpha gav diksiv beisecha. Didachin shutvislai. How would you say a plural? Beischem would be a plural. Which means only if it sounds like it's singular. Only if not a partner with a guy. I have to start off with a regular partner. Maybe it's only if it's a singular. Only if you only individual owner. But if there's a partner, so then you're exempt. So when you read the end of the verse, at the end of that paragraph, it says so that your life and the life of your children will be lengthened. So, and it says a plural over there. So that would include even a partner. So what does it tell me? A singular house. Likid Rava. It's coming to teach me what Rava says. It's a big sugya in Menachem. The Rabbi. Derech beis biyasecha min hayamin. It's you put the mezuzah up the way you walk through the house. The way you walk through the house, which is the front door gets it on the right, and as you walk through the house, it gets it on the right as you go through the house. The way you go into the doorway. Okay, Meiser. What
was the answer if you own it with a guy?
No, if you own it with a guy, we didn't mention here. It's interesting. We could have said that, but we didn't. We said.
But offhand, do you know the answer?
Yeah, you do put it up unless you assume that the guy is going to vandalize it.
Because that's what I've previously advised.
If there's a concern, then you don't put it up.
You put up through the whole house.
That's only if you live in it, right? It's only if you live in it.
Well, it's always
Always only if
always
you live
only
in it.
living. It's always.
What
the
if
Chavis Hadar.
What if they are
If you
partners in a house for
Rentals?
rental?
You don't have to.
The renter? It depends on the renter. The renter is the one that's obligated in the mezuzah.
So even
The
though
one that
they own
lives
the
there.
house, they don't at the beginning, because who knows when they'll rent? Put up a mezuzah.
I'm not sure. When a non-Jew moves in, can you take it down if you're renting to a non-Jew? I think it's a Chavis Hadar. Could be you can take it down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be you can take it down, and then you don't have to.
to.
Meiser, what about the tithe? Afagav diksiv Meiser the gancha, even though it says that the first, I'm sorry, a tenth of your grain you have to give, and it's a singular, dilachin shutvislai, that means only yours, not with a partner. Kasav Rachmana Meiser Seichem. It says no. A plural. Your tenth, with a possessive plural. Elamaisa the gancha lamayasa, so why did tell me the gancha? Lemuti shutvislai the kachavim. By the way, Tosfos asks your question. In the top, he says, "How come we switched each time?" We said, "So why do you have the singular?" It says to exclude a partnership with a non-Jew. They says, "So why by the mezuzah didn't we do that?"
What was his answer?
Doesn't answer.
He doesn't answer. He says on the side they say,
Cheap
"Look at
shots.
Tosfos and Menachem." So here, if you have a partnership with the non-Jew, by the grain you don't have to take meiser. Matanis. Does that contradict what we said before?
No, it's exactly the same thing.
That before we're talking about truma. By truma we had a machlekes Rabbi and Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, but we said you're obligated. You're obligated. Here we're saying you're exempt. You're exempt from meiser. Matanes afagav the kasav rachmana v'nasa nikolamemer yalef nesina nesinim reish sagez malahal d'shutz v'slay afkan d'shutz v'slay. When it comes to the gifts that you have to give from the animal that you slaughter, you have to give certain parts to the Kohen. So it says v'nasan. You should give. And I could have thought that you learned from reish sagez that's also v'nasan. And by reish sagez, by the first shearings of wool, you're exempt if there's a partner, according to Rabbi Eily at least. So too, the gifts from the animal, you're exempt if there's a partner in the animal. I could have thought that. So it says from the slaughter, the one that slaughters the slaughtering. That's a plural. This is only because I have the plural there. That tells me I'm obligated. But without that plural, I would have thought that you learned from the first shearings of wool that exempts you. The Gemara says, Truma also says Titain. And we said already that whenever you have a comparison, you always compare it to the more strict one. The Gemara says, you're right. Yeah, I know you're obligated if you have a partner. So why do I need to tell me the plural? You're obligated anyway. So it says, that the rule is that you have to go to the butcher. To get the coin goes to the butcher to get the gifts. I guess we should stop here.
Tomorrow we're going to really have to step on it.